just over 203,000 miles on it, and the windshield wiper assembly sort of finally gave out. Took it apart and I found that this bushing that goes on this ball connection here, it was just sort of laying on the bottom, so it popped off. Then at the same time, the other side of the bushing or whatever is supposed to sort of hold it or whatnot might be missing. It's sort of missing a little bit of a chunk right here too. So here's how I'm gonna fix this problem temporarily. Sorry about the blur. The arm that connects onto this bushing sits right here on this ledge where my fingernail's at. So it's right there. You can see this hole in it. I'm gonna have to take this top part off here to actually get to it, but my idea is to basically, here's this, and I'm going to do some spacing here with these E-clips that I got at Harbor Freight. I've had them for a while, pretty cheap. And then I'm going to, have the space here, install this bushing. Install the bushing, and then also once you put it on, you see I actually have a little bit more space on this side for another C-clip. So basically it's going to be these clips, spaced up to here, and then actually for this inner smaller groove here, I have this copper washer that fits on it perfectly. So right about there, above the copper washer is the rest of that arm that connects. So anyways, it's sort of a makeshift get myself back on the road type of thing, since it rains so much in Washington. But since the arm will be riding right here on this groove anyways, there's still plenty of life left in it, and I don't see why it would break down anymore. Anywho, stay tuned for more. First, remove your whole wiper arms. I got these 12 millimeter nuts and little splines on the end of the shaft there, and inside of here, which is aluminum. It's made so that if something goes wrong, if you replace them, you basically just tighten them back on, and the splines should dig into the aluminum and create a new hold. But anyways, got them off. Now the last step, once we have all of the motor back in, will be to put these back on. For the time being, I put these nuts back in. Okay, so don't waste your time taking this plastic part off unless you really wanted to clean it out. It's got this stainless mesh here on the inside for the most part, but all the pine needles and stuff still stick through it. But anyways, that did not give me access to that area back there, and honestly nothing will unless I cut it open into it. But looks like that's what they put this random tab here for, so that you can like pull it out and put it on the tab, and now you can try to do something with it. Typically I guess you would be replacing that little bushing, but I don't have that bushing. Anyways, let's try this out. Alright, hopefully this will make sense. So I had this little strip of metal. I wedged it first behind this arm while having the white bushing on there, and I was able to pop all of this on with my little copper washer that I put on first onto the other side of this white bushing. And so I took the motor with all of this, with these E-clips on there, and just wedged them all in there, while this was my back plate. So I went down from under, and if you can just imagine it behind it, that way I didn't let anything fall through, because the bushing isn't exactly tight, and all that. Anyways, and now I'm just gonna try to get this clip behind the white bushing on that side of it, and then that will prevent anything from falling apart. And it still has a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much, so should be okay. Let's try this out. Okay, so that back one I put in position like this with my tiny little shaved down needle nose pliers. You even have to have it at an angle like that. And then once I had it sitting on there, I grabbed my flathead screwdriver, and with one finger on the left side just holding it in place, flathead screwdriver, I was able to push down on it and pop it into place. So now it shouldn't be going anywhere. Looks good. So now I can put it back into position and then cycle the motor to make sure it's in the down position before I reinstall this in my arms, and then we'll do a final test after that. Okay, one more thing, I'll just tell you how this went for me. So I got 4 of the smaller E-clips right here, then I got 2 of the larger ones, then I have that copper washer that fit perfectly over the small end of the white bushing, and then I have another small E-clip right behind it back here that's locking it in place, so now literally none of this will pop out. And I'll even tell you the dimensions I used, just in case somebody actually, wants to do this. So I used the 4 1/2-inch ones, then I used the 2 5/8 ones, and then there was that copper washer, and then another 1/2-inch one on the other end. Okay, put the motor back on. Next I plug it back in, and now I go and cycle the arms. Alright, it's back to working. I don't hear anything weird. Looks fine. Now I can stop it once it cycles in its home position, and then I'll be able to reassemble all of that, and I should be good to go.